Hello, everybody. Oh man, it's Man Alone, and we're gonna do a little unboxing video today, um, and we're going to take a look at Mausritter. Now, I know that there are unboxing videos that are 2 years old on this game. However, it looks like there was a re-release of it. I don't know if there'll be any changes. I really don't know a lot about Mausritter, which is what's pretty exciting for me, given that, as I stated, I did a live playthrough earlier, and I said it's kind of like sitting, if you were to sit down for a movie, having never seen a trailer for it, like totally open to it. So who knows? Like, imagine if you sat down for Pulp Fiction and you never heard of it before, right? On the other hand, maybe you're going to sit down for, I can't off the top of my head think of a brutally terrible movie. Oh, I know. There was a movie called Brothers Grimm with Heath Ledger, rest in power. Amazing actor, but that movie with Matt Damon was one of the few movies in my life I have walked out of the theater on. So, yeah, so I don't know what this will be, but I just know that I love the art. I hear a lot about Mausritter. I just see it very often, and so I saw it on eBay, and I gave it a shot. So before we open, let's take a look at the back. Take up the sword and don the whiskers of a brave mouse adventurer in Mausritter, the rules light fantasy adventure role-playing game. Italics. It's a huge and dangerous world out there, and it does not look kindly on a small mouse. Ain't that the truth? But if you are very brave and very clever and just a bit lucky, you might survive. And if you survive long enough, you might even become a hero amongst mice. New font, brutally fast, equally flavorful. Character creation gets you playing your mouse adventure as quickly as possible. Physical card-based inventory. Ooh, I like that. Keeps bookkeeping to a minimum and hard choices to a max. Dangerous and evocative magic. System with 15 spells to find and cast. Wonder if it'll be Vancian. Generous toolbox of resources. Provide the game master with plenty of support to create their own mouse-scale sandbox adventures. And delve into the ready-to-play adventure site of Stumpsville and explore further into the earldom of Eck. Looks like it says it includes a 44-page rulebook, GM screen, cool, Honey in the Rafters adventure, pad of character sheets, item and condition card, and dry erase marker, cool. So this is right here, it says it's the 4th printing, 7,500 copies. So I feel kind of special. 2023, co-published by Exalted Funeral, obviously good. Okay, let's see. Actually, I might be able to open this without having to stab it open. I do have a couple of other games that I've shown in the live videos, and we'll talk about those as well at the end. But I don't. This is the title, so we should probably do this one first. Obviously, right off the bat, it is really nice feel to it. Very high quality. Let's make ourselves a little bit more room here. The art is exceptional. You know, I had a pretty closed mind to RPGs that had these kind of playful illustrations, but over time I have like almost completely changed my view, where sometimes I look at 5e and I'm like, stop taking yourself so seriously. My goodness. Okay, so right off the bat, oh, this is very cool. Sword and Whiskers role-playing. Nice hardcover book. It has this open cover right here, Isaac Williams. Pretty thin, but obviously right here. So I paid about, I think, $50 for this. And so like this book alone, you would say, now, in my opinion, a book like this, an RPG, but like, let me say this. In my opinion, a book this thick, not taking into account the hardcover and the design, this right here is like, let's tally it up. So right here, I'm like, okay, this thickness, this many pages. What is this, like 44 pages? Yeah. Okay, $5. And then I look and I'm like, okay, illustrations, 8. Yep, that's nice. Like that it does not have glossy pages. We'll go 10. Really cool cover thing here. Go up to 15. Hardcover, go up to 35. So yeah, or maybe 30. And that's what I think what like I'm thinking of other games that have a hardcover book that are quite pricey but quite small, just because of their design. Necro Nautilus comes to mind, as well as the hardcover of Runekarn, which you actually get, I think, if you buy it on shop.com, like a little keychain with it. But that's just for the book, right? And so if we're already at $30, character sheets. I love this. Very, wow. It's a whole pad of them. There's got to be like 50 of these, maybe more than that. Does it say how many it has? It's got to be a lot. Nice basic sheet. Normally, I hate the space for a portrait on the character sheet. It's like, give me a break. But again, when you have illustration like this, I feel less stressed about having to, render a portrait of something. So that's really nice. Looks like we have name, background, birth sign, coat, look, strength, dex, willpower, HP, pips. Out of 250, you get pips. Looks like that's like a money system. And then something in your main paw, your body, your off paw, body. And then under this, I'm not sure what it means, but it says carried, ready to use, worn, quick to ready, pack, takes time to ready. Okay, so this must be like during combat, whether it takes a turn. It probably is like in your hand, ready to use. If it's worn, you're wearing it, you can make it ready very quick. And if it's in the backpack, probably takes a turn or something. And then your level, your grit, ignored condition, and banked items and pips. So pretty cool. I don't think there's anything on the back, but I love that. That's just darn useful. Here's a turn tracker. Very nice, very thick. I guess maybe we would use some sort of token. And this is cool. This one is grouped together. You can't see it, but it says night watch, morning watch, afternoon watch, evening watch. So I'm not sure if there's like a city defense system here. It has little boxes for sunrise and sunset. Various different, looks like spaces for 4 mice. Ooh, I love this. Items. Gosh, this is really nice. Like you can't see this, but this is, so look, I get excited about these things. A little bit of a stain right there, unfortunately. Yeah. So weird. It's like you can't really see it on the camera, but it's got this like streak right across the middle here. That's okay. If you can't see it on camera, nobody's going to see it. But I'm trying to think of the Morkborg solo shot, what that one's called, that comes in that like rad pink and black envelope. And that has like tokens like this, but you have to cut them. This actually has perforations. So items and armor, stuff that you could write in. Looks like little buttons, light armor, heavy armor. Okay. And then we have a spear, bow, hook arm, bow, warhammer, arrows. So it's heavy weapons. Anything on the back here? No. And then some items. Improvised weapon, light sword, light dagger, ammunition, medium axe. It has like the attack on it, and then it looks like some sort of runes here and some ranged, maybe a sling. Yeah, it looks like a sling. And another one here with torches and rations and lanterns and a pip purse. This is really cool. This is really nice. I'm curious now if there's a solo adaptations of this game, because I'm definitely into this. And then this looks like some condition cards. We have exhausted, injured, and drained. So I have to say, a lot of similarities already with Dragonbane. If you're tired of hearing about it, unsubscribe, because I'll probably keep talking about it. But we have some like conditions. We got pretty basic loadouts. Animations are fun but really nice. And then Honey in the Rafters. This looks like special for this adventure, which, look at this, you got some candy, you have a silver sting, sugar shiv. Then at the bottom we have lollipop, sweet tooth, idle, candy canes, sneezing fit. It looks like a new condition. That's great. Okay, so that's more conditions. Dry erase marker, not too shabby. Not too shabby. That's very cool. Nice little touch right there. Sometimes with stuff like this, I'm like, come on, did you really spend money on this? But in this case, I'm like, this is nice. You know, especially if you could use these dry erase markers on these tokens, which we'll see. So this is Honey in the Rafters, just a little heavy stock, but looks like a trifold here. Has different encounters. Yeah. How nice. Some characters here, different areas. So I guess like I was looking at this and I'm like, it's pretty limited. Then I'm like, oh yeah, you're a mouse. So like this is probably like the world map right here. A sunflower stalk, overgrown garden. And some adventure hooks, treasure, spells. It stands in the garden of an abandoned human-made shack, blackened by magic and radiating strange energy. The cursed sunflower calls to all who come near. First Queen Asuriet and her court of bees smelled the irresistible pollen. They built their hive of black and sticky nectar and were forever cursed. Next, a foul-tempered skunk named Shig came for the sunflower seeds. She jealously guards the patch for mouse and bee alike and has the scars to prove it. Last, the mice came, brethren of the cult of sugar. They believe that the honey of the cursed bees will appease their god, the sweet tooth. Don't all convert at once. And then, is this like, this might be like a GM. Yeah, it's like a little GM screen. Oh, is that cool? Yeah. So this would be like the player-facing side, and then GMs with lots of tables. Now here we go. I can already tell. I can already tell just looking at this. Free League. You know this is. You know I love you. My one gripe here that this Dragonbane screen does not have the right information on it. This is not how you do a GM screen. It needs to have this kind of stuff. It needs to have tables. It needs to have different options, non-player mice. Look at that. This, I dream of this. I'm so happy of this. In my solo playthroughs all the time when I encounter NPCs, I always need names. Love it. Saves, best practices, hirelings. Great. Great. Overland travel. Thank God. Wonderful. 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 Okay. Love that. Really love this. And then a nice rules reference sheet. That's great. This is good too. You give this to the players. Rest, short rest, long rest, full rest, magic. Okay, so I guess I will just take like a little gander through the rules book. And it's just anytime you have a box set, it always feels so precious. I love it. All right. So, seeing if I have acknowledgements. These are games or blogs I've drawn inspiration or shamelessly stolen from to build Mausritter. At least he's honest. Into the Odd. Yep, have that. Goblin Punch. Do not have that, but heard of it. Knave. This one is inspired by a lot of different, or I should say inspires a lot of different games. Mothership. Actually have that right here. Was just taking notes on it for a campaign. Moonhop for just going and making your game. Check that out. Moonhop. And I'm going to use my Mausritter dry erase marker to make a note for myself. Moonhop. Take a look at that. Last Gasp Grimoire for arts and crafts inventories. I never heard of that. Coins and Scrolls. The following have all inspired Mausritter's theme, setting, and tone. Brambly Hedge, Church Mice, The Tales, The Rescuers, Arietti by Ghibli. Oh yeah. Distant Mirror, Mouse Guard, Mice and Mystics. Every time I open this, I give myself a minute to see if I recognize any names here. I don't think I do. No. Okay. So yeah, it looks like 43 pages. What is Mausritter? Introduction to the world, what you need to play, a character sheet, a session tracking sheet, a set of items, polyhedrals. So looks like we're doing D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20. Dice notation. We know how to do that. Then there's a barcode for downloadable resources. Love that. How to read this book. The first part of this book, page 6 to 18, is directed at the players. Okay, and then there's GM. Mausritter is built on top of a long history of games. Is resilient to hacking. Many systems can be modified, replaced, or ignored entirely. Use this game as a toolbox. So we start by making a mouse. We have birth sign, which are not like Gemini. It's star, wheel, acorn, storm, moon, and mother, which gives them a different disposition. Like moon is wise and mysterious. Storm is generous but wrathful. That's really cool. Then their coat. These are different mouse coat colors: chocolate, black, white, tan, gray, blue, solid, brindle. Physical detail, scarred body, corpulent body, tiny body, massive body, and then different backgrounds. It looks like there's, according to your HP and your pips, you have different backgrounds, and it looks like maybe I'm not sure, but maybe it scales because it goes by how many HP and pips you have, and so it's like if you have 1 and 1, you're a test subject and you get a magic missile and a lead coat, heavy armor. Yeah, maybe it does. And we have some instructions on inventory, lanterns, torches, best practices. I'm always just so inspired by this because it's like, you know, when someone is achieving this much in 43 pages, it's like, it teaches me a lot. I'm very humbled by this and need to learn from this. Magic. Dun, 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 dun. Spells are living spirits trapped by runes carved on obsidian tablets, so that must have been what those tokens were. The creation of spells is an art lost to all, but most learned wizards, and they guard their secrets closely. Selling spells. Okay, here we go. If unwanted, a fully charged spell can usually be sold for D6 times 100 pips in a settlement. A depleted spell's value is halved. Casting a spell. To cast a spell, your mouse must hold the tablet in its paw and read it out loud. When your mouse casts a spell, decide on the power to cast it with up to the number of usage dots remaining on the spell. Decide on the power. Okay, so it's probably like the more power or MP kind of you put in it, the more that it yields has an effect. Recharging a spell. Here we go. When a spell's usage dots are filled. Okay, so there's like usage dots. So maybe you get more than one use out of it. Although there is always this thing when it starts doing this, I'm like, okay, so are these just items? Are these like, I know we're calling them spells, but are they just items? Okay, yeah, so this looks like with these runes, these different runes, different designs, and you get these usage dots. When a spell's usage dots are filled, it is depleted and cannot be cast. Each spell has a recharge requirement, which on this other page, there's different requirements for that. I'd love to play this. If any of you want to do a one-shot over Discord audio, let me know. Maybe we could put something together. Miscast. Whenever 1 or more 6s are rolled when casting, the caster takes 6d6 damage. Yeah, I like that. Should be a little dangerous. Okay, so recruiting help. You can get hirelings. You could form a war band. Constructions. The right to build on land cannot be bought. It can only be given or taken and defended. It's like the Godfather quote. Real power cannot be given. It must be taken. This must be like the spiritual successor to Godfather. A nice example of play. Example of play in combat. Let's see. How does the combat work? Did we already talk about it that quick that we already know how to do combat? Combat. Oh, okay. Combat is dangerous busyness for mice, even brave adventurers, but sometimes it can't be avoided. If you attack unsuspecting foes, your mouse and any allies aware of the plan go first. Otherwise, make a dex save to act before your opponent. So that's like initiative. On your turn in a combat round, the mouse can move up to 12 inches and perform an action. Actions can be anything from negotiating, attacking, fleeing, performing a risky gambit. Attacks always hit. Roll your weapon's die and do that much damage to an opponent minus their armor. When an attack is impaired, such as firing into cover or fighting when grappled, roll d4. You know, I like that he said I stole from these games because we're actually to the point in saturation of this field that if you were to sit at home all day and come up with like a combat system of your own, it's almost guaranteed, unless your combat system is like spitting in sunflower seeds into a bucket, that it already exists in some games. And it actually drives me nuts that you see some of these RPGs that have like such stringent intellectual property. And I'm not even talking about like OSR, 5e, stuff like that. I'm talking about like indie RPGs that are heavily locked down. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm not saying I want to steal anyone's story or anything like that. And you really can't, you can't copyright game mechanics. But even so, you'll see sometimes they're like, yeah, if you use this system, you have to like give me credit. And it's like, I don't know. Like, are you really the first person to think of that, of like rolling the die and then doing that? Maybe I'm being obtuse, but that really blows me away. So this is for running Mausritter as a GM. We have different characters. Looks like language comes into it. Frog, mouse, owl, snake. Oh, and then we got Hexcrawl. So Seed rumors. Yeah, I like this. This is like, I bet, you know what? I bet you you can solo this pretty damn easy. You got rumors here. You roll a different hex type, tells you what kind of terrain it is, different landmark details. This is great. Yeah, this is very this is right here. You see a page like this in any book, you're like, I could solo this. Really cool. Different factions. Gosh, so much good stuff. I'm going to read this through obviously like tomorrow from start to finish, and I'm going to be amazed. For me to go from like combat to hirelings to construction to hex crawling would take me 153 pages, and this person is doing it in like 6. So here's an example hex crawl. Been a while since I've done a good old-fashioned hex crawl. Really cool. That's the thing too, as a solo game, you always try to make like an omni game. You try to make a game that could like create unlimited situations and everything like that, but it's also like we should also remember that we have the option, if we're game designers, just make game, do the outline, and then you can do like an adventure as easy as this, trifold. Have people build out your world. Actually, let's take a look at the okay. So then like different adventure site themes, adventure site toolbox, creating encounters, my friends, I think room types. This looks very soloable. I'm actually surprised there's not even like a thing that's just like, just like a paragraph on soloing. I'm curious. Isaac Williams, if you see this, let us know if you've thought about solo adaptation. And then gear and prices, mousy names, another awesome list. Combat, rest, magic, saves. This is great. So far so good. Obviously I got to read through it a little bit, but just from the looks of it and my sense of things, I think this is a real winner. So we'll keep that on hand. Another one that I got recently is Outsiders. This is the a expansion for Notorious, which I did get the PDF for, and I've seen a couple playthroughs. Really love the design of this book. You play like a bounty hunter. It's got this, how would I describe this style? Sort of like a neon hip, steampunk, sleek, future scrapyard space station kind of thing. And this actually has a interesting reaction system where you go like, okay, who am I talking to? And then like, what are they doing? And then you go to like, you have like different outcomes based on that. I'm trying to think of what system does this remind me of? Because you have like, you know what? It might be like that one I got from that you play the playing cards and like look through the salvage ships, which seems kind of similar theme wise as well. Okay, so you could threaten people, attack, recruit. One thing I will say, sometimes just from a playing standpoint, I don't think that a person has to come up with 500 different options for everything. But I will say, if you're less experienced role player, it's possible that when you have a game that just has like a D6 options for like, you're going to start repeating the game within like 2 or 3 hours, right? Unless you start like creating it yourself. So it looks like we have at the start of the game, the first thing you'll do is create your bounty hunter, your nomad. And so we have different, I really love this. I almost want every single one of my RPGs to have this binding. When I opened it, I was like, what? But look at this. You get a full flat surface. Every page is like index card thickness. Nice little illustrations. Get to see the whole thing. We have the rookie. Let's just take a look at a loadout. Loadout, we have ranged, melee, outfit. The guild is watching. Couple 1d6 to figure out your origin, your scar, and your trigger. The tech, Beastmaster, Deserter. I can't say that it's like my favorite art, but I do think it's cool. Like, I don't even. Maybe I shouldn't have said it like that. Like, this is not my jam. Like, I don't seek out art like this, but this is really nice art and it looks really cool. Species. So I wonder here as I was looking through this, you have all these species and it's like sometimes in games you'll have things where it'll give you a prompt and it'll be like, oh, okay, you've encountered the Varguk or the Herkbus or the Gamle or the Thagdar. And it's like, okay, do I know what those are or is that just the names of it? So let's actually see, like, is there a definition on the species? Factions. Another really nice picture, Where's Waldo type thing. Yeah, I guess I do. I like when I look at it like this, more of a landscape, I do dig that more. I love the brightness. This is good progression. As you alternate between exploration and destinations, you'll interact with people, observe events, and engage in combat. I maybe would have put that earlier. Here's exploration table, exploration events, destinations, searching. Yeah, so like you roll 1d6. You meet a local who's been threatened by your target. Gain 1 notoriety. What are they afraid of losing if they talk to you? So if you search, there's 6 options. If you search 20 times, how many times are you going to talk to a local who's been threatened? And does that work? I don't know. I'd have to actually play through this. But it is solo. This is a solo game. Create a lead. Yeah, lead. This is a good system. I really need to consider this more. Doing like leads, setting up like more of a mission thing than a progression thing. I think that's the way to go. Then it's open-ended and it's and then an epilogue. I don't want to spoil anything. Always Checkers Publishing. And then this looks like a pretty simple character sheet. Yeah. So that's Outsiders. Average playtime 1 to 2 hours. Yeah. So you say 1 to 2 hours. That kind of puts it in perspective of like, we don't need 55 options. And I need to come around to that as well, because when I play a solo game, I'm always kind of measuring it against like Starforged or something, and I'm saying, oh, I should be able to play this game endlessly. And that's not the idea with everything. I do feel a little turned off by a game that says it's going to take 1 to 2 hours to play. That's not the kind of play I do. Some of you, that might be perfect, but like I want to play where I can sort of create an endless open world, and I like to spend time talking and creating things. Just before I go, another thing, what an interesting little thing this was. It was recommended by somebody, and this truly is like an RPG opener for kids, I think. Or if you're a soloist and you just want the most basic outline, Tricube Tales. Like, I don't see one stat in here. And every character is just archetype, agile, starship, pilot, perk, and quirk. Recovery, opposed challenges, archetypes. Very basic. And I think the author said that they used it to like teach their 5-year-old to play. I think that's cool. But I just picked that up on a whim. And then the last one, I did show this in the live playthrough, is this What Lies Beneath. This is a game book, solo dungeon crawler. And I guess I feel compelled to say again, the art is really cool. It's done by Jason Glover, who, if you've played Iron Helm, Jason rules. But I do hate that this is like, if you see the cover, they made like the blood look like that, but the way it is, my brain always goes, oh no, you spilled ketchup. I guess because my live playthrough is an hour and 24 minutes of me prattling, you may not have caught that one. But I do mention one of my favorite things in here is when you do dex checks or dex saves. I got to show you this. All right, I'll just read it. Dex rules for dex test. Dexterity challenges you to flick a die from a distance. Stack 2 dice on top of one another. These 2 dice are your target. Place a 3rd die at the indicated number of inches from the target, measured from the center of the dice. 1 inch equals 25.4 millimeters. Interesting. Note that the edge of your character sheet provides a ruler. Let's see that. What is that? Where's my ruler? The edge of my character. Yeah, right here. There is, like, you can kind of see. Okay. Okay. Items allow you to manipulate the dice after you set them up. Flick the die with your finger toward the target. Your goal is to strike the target with the flick die without knocking the top die off the stack. It is acceptable if your flick die simply brushes the target and moves forward. It is also acceptable if the top die moves. What matters is whether the flick die makes any contact with the target. Your deck statistic indicates the number of attempts you get. If any attempt strikes the target without, yeah, I think this is really funny. I don't want to do this when I'm playing. I don't want this to come in with it. That to me is a mini game, and that again, that's just me. But I did like this because it's different. And then item and tag tests, wit tests. Wit tests are a test of whether you could put a specified number of dice in sequence. So yeah, it's almost like with a lot of these form follows function, and that's really cool. And you know, these game books have just really come a long way, and it looks like lots of options here, and you sort of travel around to these different encounters. Nice deal of inventory stuff here. There's a rules reference and arcana. Of course, that old... we all know this short. You know HP MP. Well, this game has a SFKC, small flask of Karma Cleaner, and it also has, of course, the PFAI, which is the Pigeon Familiar. So yeah, just a couple of things so far. Hope you enjoyed this. I haven't played it, so I can't say for sure, but it looks Mausritter looks incredible. And so, yeah, if you've played it or you own it, I'd love to hear your reactions down in the comments. Otherwise, hope you have a great day.